Well, I mean, seriously.
Morning, Piggy.
Morning! It's a Friday morning, it's practically the weekend. It will be when y'all see this.
Oh, man.
Try to be a little musical there, folks.
It's way too early. It's way too early in the morning.
Well, you know, I just experienced a little something, put me in a little mood with it, so I went with it. I thought it was funny. The way people look at you sometimes, and you're just kind of like, what you think you looking at like that? Uh-huh. Who poo-pooed in your Wheaties this morning? Or is it just that you ain't had your Starbucks this morning with 50-something sugars in it? I don't know. I don't care. I ain't had my coffee this morning yet either. I will when I get home.
He actually drinks coffee. He don't drink sugar.
I drink straight up black coffee. You know, you're gonna drink some coffee, not a couple of cups of sugar with a little dash of coffee in it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, folks, I'm gonna talk about something this morning that y'all have heard me talk about before and everything, but I'm doing this one special for Amy at Leonard Mountain Homestead. I've told her I would, so I'll be looking for it, so I hope she's listening. Because it's going to be kind of rough. You're either going to agree with me or disagree with me. It's either going to hurt you or it's going to help you. But talking about death, it affects us all in different ways. And, you know, folks, ain't none of our lives cut short. We have what's called DNA, and that DNA is stamped with God's name on it. And in that DNA, we already have a preset expiration date. And God put that in there for His reasons and purposes. We ain't always going to understand why, but part of it is a person's death is going to have effect on one person one way and effect on another person a different way. You know, that death is going to do anything of a range between cause people to hate God for a long time or cling to God more, looking for that understanding. And just depends on the person. But that is how God works with people a lot of times, is cause and effect. But He already knows what the effect is going to be from the cause because He wrote it all like a computer program. It's already been written. But now, when it comes to we get to missing folks that have passed on, well, that's why we're supposed to cherish life and those in it while we got them. Yeah, we miss them. But if you get to looking for any comfort from how they were, or their wisdom or whatever, well, all you got to do is look at your heart. All of that will be there. Yeah, it's rough not actually hearing their voice to get it that way. But, you know, God don't have their expiration date on there before a time when He knows we're ready to fly solo. And, you know, a lot of us have got you know, a lot of people got big families. You ain't really going solo. You're just going solo. You know, you kind of like the military. You got a missing man formation in those jets flying over. And, you know, so you can still find their wisdom. You can still find their joy because it'll be in your heart. And as long as they're in your heart, in your mind and memory, they're never truly gone. Now, on the gone part of it, you know, often I hear people say, oh, they're looking over us. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I hate to disappoint you, but they're not. Now, if they didn't go the right way, they're looking up at you because they're trying to, while they're screaming from torment, they're screaming at you to do better so you don't wind up with them. But when we know they've gone home, gone to be with God, they ain't thinking not a thing about this place here. Now, how can I say that? Because I've been dead.
Well, so the Bible tells us.
Well, the Bible tells us. But, you know, a lot of people don't really pick up on it. They're concerned, you know, they call it being asleep in the Lord. Well, you know, the body is. The physical body. But the spirit goes on. The spirit never sleeps. And as I've mentioned before, there's some temporal mechanics going on and a little something I know. So I'm not going to sit here and try to explain it. Anybody ever wanted to get a one-on-one with me and have me explain it to them, I will. At this point, it's only a speculation of a possibility. But it makes sense. But that first time I died, I was walking a lane lined with angels while I was headed towards. I'm sitting there, mouth agape, just looking at, oh, wow. Never could see the faces on the angels. I've never been allowed that, but I could see they were angels and there was others flying in to line that lane. I was gone long enough for my body to have grown completely cold, folks. I was dead. That wasn't verified by a doctor because I was at home and there was somebody there who helped me get in that state. They were rather shocked when they saw me up. So I got them coming out the bathroom getting ready for the boo-hoo. Putting on the show. But that was just the first of 3 times, folks. One of the 3 times I don't remember, but I remember the first time and I remember another time. And the other time I remember, I didn't get to see nothing, but I could hear as though I was on the, it was as busy as a New York City street midday. Maybe more so. Hustle and bustle, but there was angelic music singing going on, and you'll never hear anything quite like it until you get there. But that first time, the second time too, but that first time as I was walking that lane, I was totally infused down to the very core of every atom of my being with the unspeakable love, joy, and peace of God. There's Mr. Rabbit, he's early. And so when they preach on the unspeakable love, joy, and peace of God, believe it, because there is no other way to describe it. It is unspeakable. Now, when I woke up back here, I cried like a baby. I woke up and realized I was back here. And but while I was there, It was like just having been born. I had no knowledge of this place. Nothing. There was nothing there. I literally, like I'd just been born. There was no history prior to that moment. I was there, and something within me told me, I knew where I was going. I was going home. Then I woke up back here. God had other plans. And I suppose YouTube was part of those plans, because I've met many wonderful people whom God had for me to meet, apparently. Suppose when we go home, don't mourn for your loved ones if you know they went home, because they're busy. They ain't got no thought for this place. My daddy, when he was on his deathbed, he told my older sibling and I that his wish for us was that we would get along. Well, I knew for me that meant staying away, because there was no way of getting along unless I was willing to submit myself on bended knee to that side of things and accept things that go totally against my moral code, like being a racist bigot. And I won't talk about that until there's not openly and on this venue, until certain ones are gone. But hopefully they'll change, but I doubt it. Especially since I know one of them's a full-blown witch. If you do anything with witchcraft, folks, or anything like it, and get into any of that, I'm going to tell you now, turn before you burn. Because, like the Bible says, you can't serve two masters. You'll love the one and hate the other. And it's kind of like having dual citizenship here in the United States. Which one you going to be loyal to when the proverbial fecal material hits the fan? So, but anyway, I knew that for me that meant staying away, but that's neither here nor there. Long story short is the reason why he said that. And he told us the reason why he said that. He said, because once I'm gone, I ain't going to have a thought one for anything down here. Well, when I had that experience with death, God raised me back up. And yes, I've got a physical attribute that proves that my heart blew up and God would have had to have rebuilt it. It's not medically proven or documented, but I know it was there, and the look on the other person's face proves it too. They knew I was dead. Then they saw me standing up. And while I was there, I didn't know first thing about any of this here. So when a loved one dies and we know they've gone home, they ain't thinking about this place. God's got them busy doing something there. Because this place is just training to become a part of a society that God has waiting for us. And He has a purpose for us when we get there. This is just training to rely on Him and know that all things are possible through Him, and to be more like Him, because we'll have to be more like Him in order to be rulers over many things, as it says in the Bible. because you have had faith in a little, I'll make you ruler over much. That's not exactly how it says. So, some of you out there that would just hold your P's and Q's. That's not how it said. Yeah, but that's the gist of it. I'm not a chapter and verse type person, folks, but I know it. It's in there. There's still a lot of things I gotta learn, but anyhow, that's neither here nor there. When we die at the appointed time that God had for us to die physically. And I say physically because this body is just the vehicle by which we travel through this life. We ourselves, our spirit, never dies. We just go home. And so we're never cut short. But God's the only one that knows the expiration date. So we got to make the most of life, and we take what we've learned from someone we love that has passed on, and we pass that on to the next generations so that they can then pass that on to the next generation after you have gone home. So, and I can tell you, even though the body may seem like it's going through all sorts of stuff and pain, and it might be, your loved one, if they're going home, they're already dead and gone. The body's just reacting to the last moments. You know, kind of like, well, I ain't going to make that example, but the signals from the brain, the last signals from the brain, are just delivering to the body, and the body's reacting to those last signals. But your loved one is done gone. They ain't feeling that pain. When that happened to me, I took 2 short gasps for breath and I was gone. If my body did anything after that, I don't know it. The other time I do remember I went to gasping and my head hit my desk, but I don't remember my face planting on the floor. I don't remember that part.
Both times. You were sitting in your chair, you started gasping, like you couldn't swallow, you couldn't breathe, and you fell out in the floor.
Yep.
You did not face plant on the desk. You face planted the floor both times.
No, I said my head hit the desk.
Your head
I remember that part. I remember hitting the desk.
It wasn't the desk, it was the floor you hit. I was
No.
sitting there watching you.
I distinctly remember hitting the desk before anything else. After hitting the desk, I don't remember a thing. And, but like I said, I do not remember hitting the floor.
That's all I remember. I just balled out the chair, hitting the floor. I don't remember hitting the desk.
Well, the way that gasping for air had me going, it was jerking my body around so quick, you might have missed it. But anyhow, the thing is, I don't remember hitting the floor, folks. And so I was done gone. And like I said, I didn't get to see anything that time because I was in the city of God. And like I said, it sounded like a busy New York street midday. And busier, in fact. But it was so pleasant. And so the point is, my body may have been reacting to things, but my spirit was done gone. I was done dead. I done left the body. I wasn't there. All that was left was my shell, the vehicle by which I traveled this life. So, don't never think we're cut short. We live life to the fullest as much as we can, and when things happen, you know, hey, that's how God's got for me to go out. That's how God's got for me to go out. And it also means that by that time, that expiration date don't kick in until our purpose has been served. So when our purpose has been served, it's time to go home. So what was the purpose in this person's life and death, that person's life and death? I don't know. But all things are revealed in time. So rejoice for those that you know have gone home. Mourn for those who you're not sure or know didn't go home, but went the other route. But for those that have gone home, mourn the families, not the loved one who went home. And just know it's now on your shoulders to take the next segment of that relay race. Piggy loves you.